to this happy place, welcome.
Hey guys, it's Tim, and I am with my beautiful wife, Adrienne. I am coming off of a cold. Mm-hmm. We all are.
Yeah.
And it's good timing because without fail, someone always gets sick before our Disneyland trip.
Right.
And it was a couple of weeks ago, Boston came home from school, or it was on the weekend.
They've been it's been every other week for the last 3 months, but
yeah, he got sick. He got sick first.
Yeah.
And no one was sick for a while there. And then I think it was Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia got sick. And then me and you were kind of hanging on there. We're kind of bouncing. We're like, I'm fighting it. Oh, I think I'm feeling better. No, I'm fighting it again. And then Noah and Jack got it. And then I finally got it.
Yeah.
And I think you're still kind of teetering.
Yeah. I feel like I'm getting over a very mild, just on the surface. But typically, excuse me.
As you cough.
Typically, if they get it, they'll overlap, but it spreads out where it's we're out for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
one kid gets 1 week and the next one gets another week.
So, but this, we did pretty good about
we didn't keep them from each other.
Last year when right before our trip in February, the kids got sick a week before, and you and I got it on the drive down. We were we don't feel good. So at least this is, a week before our trip. So,
we should be good.
We should be, unless anyone has a relapse. But you know what? As I keep coughing. I had a little coughing fit right before we started. So, but we have more than once, when the boys were really little, when we just had Jack and Noah, had a kid. Well, it happened when Boston was a baby too. The day we were leaving, wake up sick. Mm-hmm. That has happened, multiple times. So this, I'm we're good.
Or just on the drive home, one of them not acting quite right. And we're like, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
No. That was on the way there.
That's why, that's what I was
on the way home.
Oh, I thought I meant, on the way there.
Home, Disneyland. Yeah. Home. Jack did that once. And we were like, he's acting
That was that was the trip before COVID.
Mm-hmm. And we were like, he's just acting. And he kept saying, no, I'm fine. And we're like, just tell us. No, I'm fine. And we went into the park for a little bit when we first got there, and he just didn't have any energy. We get back to the hotel and I feel his head and he's burning up.
Yeah.
It's oh my gosh. But then the next day he was fine.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Just pump him full of ibuprofen.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. No, don't. If your kids are sick, it's recommended not to take them to Disneyland. It's the agreement that you click, I agree, when you buy your tickets or do your reservations.
The times that we went,
mainly because of COVID.
That was all before COVID. Well, that February 2020, COVID was around. But also our oldest will get a fever when he's really tired.
Yes.
And so we had woken up super early to drive to Disneyland, and he was so excited the night before that he didn't really sleep.
Yeah.
And then the next day he woke up and he was fine. He wasn't sick. We were just darn it, is he sick? But he wasn't. But yeah, the other times when they were toddlers, it was that was a different time.
Yes.
But anyways, that's not what we are talking about.
No, but I do want to take a pause.
Okay.
And congratulate my boys in red and gold.
Oh my gosh. Did you just say that?
I did.
Oh, gross. You're the one who doesn't like when people talk about their sports teams like they're on the team.
I'm not saying I'm on the team.
Okay.
Because I'm not on the team.
So if you do that, Tim doesn't like it when you do that.
Congratulate the 49ers. going to the Super Bowl. Only bringing it up because you shared it on our Instagram story. So
I did share it.
It was a nail biter of a game first half, but it correlates because last time they went to the Super Bowl, we were at Disneyland.
February 2020.
February 2020.
That's when Jack was, because we were staying at the Grand California. And I remember when we planned it, and we're like, oh, we're going to, because we've gone on Super Bowl Sunday a few times.
Yes.
And usually the drive down is like, we hit no traffic.
No traffic.
And then the park was pretty dead too. But that year, 2020, you were, because I actually wanted to, like, I was kind of bummed about it because I like watching football really no matter who's playing. Well, that's not totally true, but I don't have like,
Not if it's the Patriots.
I don't like the Patriots.
I know. That's what I said. You don't like watching unless it's the Patriots. You don't like watching it.
I like watching the Super Bowl, like, even if my team isn't there. But you didn't really care. So we were like, oh, but it's a good day to go. Okay, we'll go. But then when you found out the 49ers are going, you were like, darn it. So we ended up doing, like, having the boys take a nap, or at least Boston was the youngest. He was what, 4?
Yeah.
Almost 4. We're like, okay, we'll go back to the hotel so we can watch some of it.
Yeah.
But then, it wasn't over. We watched the halftime show, I remember, in the hotel. And then we were like, all right, we should get back into the park. But you would watch it on your phone when we were in line for things. And I just remember you would see men walking around the park on their phones. And we were in line for Autopia. That was the time when Jack wasn't actually tall enough, but we thought he was to drive himself.
Yeah.
But we were in line for Autopia, and you could like see different guys like on their phone, and then just like a collective like, because they lost.
They lost. So,
but yeah.
I can't remember who they were playing. Was it the Chiefs?
It the Chiefs?
It might have been
like
the Chiefs.
It was the Chiefs.
Who they're going to be playing again.
I could be wrong, but yeah. So, but this time we will be in Disneyland the weekend before the Super Bowl.
We purposely did
do that because our oldest is very, very into football right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay, we can't do that because he's obsessed with football right now.
Yeah.
Then we will have that weekend of the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following weekend, you and I leave.
Crazy 3 weeks.
3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now.
That's crazy.
We will be in Florida right now. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh
I can't wait. So excited.
So excited.
So this week, what we wanted to talk about, big groups. When you go to a Disney park, you see the families that have the matching shirts. And
oh my gosh.
you wanted to get matching shirts?
I wonder if your family would have gone for it. It's too late now.
No,
they wouldn't have gone for
so.
it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I wouldn't have gone for it.
You wouldn't have?
Nah, I'm not really into that.
I have like planned out if
I know.
I ever got my entire family to go, like what shirts we would do. And
but if you want to do it, I would do it because I love you and I would go along with you. It would just not be something that I would choose.
Oh, well,
to
yeah,
do.
but
anyways, so you see these big families going to Disney parks. And sometimes it can be hard to navigate the parks with such a big group. Like, how do you do Genie Plus? Like, where should you stay? And all. So we thought we'd come up with a few tips just from our past experiences of going in large groups. And we're about to go into, to go this coming weekend with one. So the first one is set up your Disneyland app ahead of time.
yeah, have everyone in your party that has a smart device, a phone. If you have little kids, they probably won't, but
Yeah.
every person with a phone, have them get the Disneyland app, create an account, sign in, load their ticket, all before the first day.
Including payment information. Those who are going to be buying things, like if they're going to be buying their own Genie Plus, mobile orders, all that type of stuff. Have that set up in the app beforehand. My parents were just here watching our kids, and I was like, hey, download the app. Here are your tickets. Scan these into your app. Because the difference between Disneyland and Disney World, there's an option to link accounts. So you have an account, I have an account, your friends or family can have an account, and then you can just link it. Oh. And all this stuff shows up in the apps and so you can share plans, reservations, all that kind of stuff. Disneyland doesn't have that.
Huh, why not?
So how you do that is you scan those people's tickets in your own app. So that way you see everyone's plans.
So like last year, we went with a big group. We had 11 or 12, including Georgia. And that's what you did. You had everybody's tickets.
I had everybody's tickets in my own app. Yeah. And they just had their own tickets in their app.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to see everybody else's, but I saw everyone.
Yeah. Which leads into the second tip.
Designate a Genie Plus captain.
Yes.
So this person is going to be the one person who is going to make the plans for the whole group. So each person still has to obviously they have to buy their own Genie Plus. Unless you want to be that one person and buy them for everybody.
Wow.
Cool. That's awesome. Good for you.
What are you, Brock Purdy? Or I should say, who are you?
It's 49ers quarterback to those who don't.
I can't believe I know that.
Anyways, so that way, when you're talking as a group, you're like, hey, Jungle Cruise is only, has a lightning lane in like 5 minutes, or you're planning out your day with Genie Plus. That one person can do the planning for the whole group, and select all the tickets in the group at one thing instead of everybody else doing it themselves. Because then what may happen is you may get different return times.
Yeah.
So that way, when you're doing it as a whole group, everyone gets a return time at the same time.
Yeah, because Genie Plus, it changes quickly.
Yeah.
The return times. Sometimes you pick it, and by the time the little rainbow wheel is done, it's like, oh, that's a later time than I actually selected. Like, so yeah, having one person. And when we say making the plans, we're not being literal there. It's not like one person is going to say, this is what we're doing. Unless you want that. But like, if you go with your big old family and you're, one person is like making all the plans and other people are getting mad and you're like, well, Dreaming of Disney said one person should make all the plans. Don't come at us like that. Okay. Like, you can decide as a group, but one person is actually making the selection on the app.
Yes. What she said.
I just want to be clear. When Tim says that one person is making the plans for the day, it doesn't have to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
That literal?
A dictatorship.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But yeah, like we would talk about it and be like, oh yeah, let's go do that. And then, Tim makes the
selection.
Gets it for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm mostly kidding. I don't think anyone really thought that. I just wanted to cover all my bases.
Good. I'm glad you did. So another tip, we're talking about, making plans for everybody, getting Genie Plus for the whole group. On the flip side, also don't be afraid to split up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's gonna, especially when you have young kids, they're not gonna want to go on a certain ride. They're not gonna want to go on Guardians or Incredicoaster, but the rest of the group does. So maybe, a couple stay back with the kids. They go do, the carousel or Fantasyland or something else that's kid friendly. And the rest of the group does something, does the bigger rides.
Yeah.
Or they like, hey, we need to go take a break. We're going to go get a snack. and the others go, do what they want to do.
Yeah. And maybe say like, hey, we're going to ride the first few rides together and we want to eat lunch together. And then in the afternoon, we're going to kind of see, if everyone wants to do something kind of different, split up. And then, hey, let's meet back up for the parade or whatever. You can designate times or events like that, especially depending on how big your group is. I mean, if it's a really big group, it could be hard to, you get into the line and the cast member asks how many and you're like 42.
I have seen that.
42?
Not 42, but I remember, I forget where we were at, but it was like a group of cheerleaders. And they were like, how many in your party? 18. And the cast member their eyes just kind of like go wide. You're like, okay, we're going to need to split you up. I mean, but then they do it,
I am so curious. I think I've said this. I know I've said this to you before. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast. I'm sure I have, but like, I'm so curious what the training is. And like, there has to be a math test.
Oh, for sure.
Because like you see them like counting and figuring out like which row to put you in. And then there's single rider. And I'm like, I'm always watching them. I have like a yawn coming, but it's like not coming. Like trying to see like, what are they thinking? How are they figuring this out? But yeah, like when we went with 11, I can't remember if it was 11 and then 12 with Georgia. I think it was, but she was so little most of the time, she's on my lap. So, but like, I believe I know we filled a boat for Small World and for Pirates.
Yeah.
So you can do it. But if you're bigger than that, you'll probably have to get, 2 boats or whatever. But yeah, like that might be a little easier if you're worried. Like if, like you said, like if there's little kids, but then you have some people in your group that don't have little kids. We did that our last trip, like one evening in California Adventure. Someone in our group wanted to go on Incredicoaster a few more times or Guardians, and try for that. We had already done that and done like rider swap earlier in the day. So we did something with the kids and the rest of our group, they even split up, and then at dinner time, everyone kind of wanted something different.
Yeah.
So we were like, all right, let's all go somewhere different. And then we'll meet here and eat together.
Yeah.
But it's like you're there together, but it's okay to separate for a little bit. But I think it's a good idea to then have a time to come back, like let's meet up at the fireworks or let's meet up, at the parade or dinner or whatever it is. That way you have a time where you're going to be back and you're not like, oh shoot, we have 2 people and then where are those people? And who knows where, I mean, we have cell phones now. So, but like if you designate a time to all meet up, then you don't have to worry about it. Just let's meet here at dinner and then you can kind of relax about where everybody is or isn't. And yeah.
No, those are good tips. Good tips.
Our voices are both a few octaves lower.
Yeah, they are.
That was a creepy laugh. Okay, stop doing that. Okay, so, and just like all the influencers say, just to be totally, what do they say? What do they always say?
I don't know where you're going with this.
Oh my gosh, hang on.
Honest? Transparent.
I just want to be like totally transparent with you guys right now. I'm getting paid millions of dollars to say this. No, but we are recording 2 episodes tonight. So next week we will sound the same.
We will sound the same. So we're sorry.
Like, man, they have been sick for a really long time. We're recording 2 episodes today. Anyways, another tip that we have talked about, and it's kind of funny that we're saying this because we didn't really like it, but I'm going to share it because if you don't have small children, I don't think it's a bad idea. So when we had a big group, we are not doing it this time, but our last big group, we got an Airbnb.
Yes, we
and
did.
all stayed together. And it was much cheaper.
Way cheaper.
It was much, because at first we were just looking at like suites at different hotels. Should we get like a 2-bedroom suite here, or, do this or that? And then you had the idea. You're like, well, maybe we should look at Airbnbs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much cheaper. It was like a 5-minute drive, then a little longer getting in the parking garage, but probably like 5 minutes to the parking garage. And then, from the parking garage, then you have to, get out of the car, get on the tram, ride the tram down to, they drop you off like right in front of the gate. If you don't have kids, the reason we didn't like it is because it was so much like, okay, get the stroller out of the car, collapse it while you go down. Well, no, we went down the elevator, so that's okay. But then collapse it to get in the tram.
Yep.
Open it back up to get in the park. Now, that's not as big of a deal on the way in.
Yeah.
At night, when you have a very heavy sleeping 6-year-old at the time.
Yep.
And then I'm carrying a 1.5-year-old.
Yep.
And they're asleep and they're tired, and you have to have him get out, get in the tram. Okay, get back in. Now you can ride to the stroller to the car. Okay, now get in the car. Okay, now we drive a few minutes. Okay, now we have to get in the house.
It was exhausting.
If you have little kids, I think staying in walking distance is the way to go.
For sure.
Because they're in the stroller in the park, they fall asleep, you walk them to the hotel, you throw them on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have little kids in a stroller, so you don't have to like collapse and collapse and open, and you have a big group, it could save you a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean,
and
it
wasn't
was like
a far drive. Like we could see, it was like a 2-story house. And from the upstairs window, you could see California Adventure.
Yeah.
Like, so it was super close.
I think when we split it up, I forget how many ways we split it up, but I mean, it was only like $100 and something a night. If you look at it that way.
I think we split it 4 or 5 ways.
Yeah.
4 or 5 ways. We split it per person. Because we were like, that's not fair because we have 6.
Yeah.
We are going to take up more space. We're going to get the bigger bedrooms and stuff because we have so many kids.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple. We had 2 other couples and then 2 other people alone. So I was like, that's not fair. So we divided it by person and then just, times DARS by 6. But it was significantly cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So if you have a big group, no small kids, look into Airbnb. And you could also maybe even find an Airbnb within walking distance. I don't know. We didn't look that hard, but
yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. So you do have to pay for parking. But still it was cheaper.
Yeah.
Than a hotel. So there you go. That's another thing to look into if you're interested. Mm-hmm. Also, hotels do have suites.
Yeah.
So maybe even, you could look into that. If you're like, no, I'd rather stay at a hotel and do walking distance. There's like Spring Hill suites, I think, down there. I'm sure you could look into.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Disneyland Resort hotels have suites, but they're going to be very, very pricey. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing to keep in mind when you're with a big group and say you want to have a dinner reservation. Getting a dinner reservation for more than 6 is very difficult. Mm-hmm. So what some people, I haven't tested this, but what I've heard other people do is that they split it up. So they have 2 people get reservations at the same place at the same time, if you can find it. So say you had 12 people and you split it up 6 and 6, or 4 and 8, or however you want to do it. And then you go to the cast member and when you check in and you just ask, can we sit close to each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one way to do it. So you have one person with one account, another person with another account, make the reservations, split it up that way. Yeah. So that way, you both have reservations for the total amount of people and, hopefully the cast members can work something out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So those are our tips.
Yeah. There's not
many.
A lot.
There's not
many. It's
many.
really not that big of a deal. But as we are planning our trip, we're just thinking about what we've done in the past and what we're thinking of coming up. And just with Genie Plus, it's just different. Like when I think 10 years ago when we went with a big group, there was nothing to plan.
No.
We just went. We got hotel rooms. We went. There was Fast Pass. You all went to the Fast Pass kiosk and put your own ticket in, and like you knew that the return times were going to be the same. So mainly the tips are for Genie Plus because that is going to make a huge difference other than, 10 plus people all trying to get the same time individually. But also just we've done a big group a few more times. So, and the park's just busier now.
Yeah.
Than it was, 10 years ago. So not a whole lot, but sometimes when you go a lot, you forget. Like we do this a lot. So we just kind of know things and you forget that like, oh, if someone's never been, they might not realize they could do this or they might not think of this.
Yeah.
And so just sharing tips that you and I might feel is obvious, but maybe someone else is like, oh, I didn't think about that. So, yeah.
So if you enjoy these tips and our lovely voices right now.
Tim's voice is already deep and now it's
just extra
okay.
lower octave. Leave us a review. We appreciate you. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, you get the 5 stars and then type out a review too. We appreciate that.
Great.
If you listen on Spotify, you just get the 5 stars. So hit those 5 stars. We appreciate that.
If you go and use any of our tips or think of anything we've said, try any food we say, and you share a picture, tag us.
Yeah.
We'd love to see your trips. We'd love to see what you do, how you do things. Do you have things you do with a big group? Let us know.
We appreciate it. So I need a cough drop.
Okay, go do that.
I need to drink some water.
Okay.
Before we start our next episode. So
all right, so enjoy the next episode and then in 2 weeks come back because we will have a trip recap and we haven't had a trip recap since August. So we are excited
we're going to have a trip recap and then
probably nothing.
Because we'll be in Disney World.
Break because we'll have the Super Bowl Sunday because we normally record on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll record on Saturday just to share our excitement. And then we will.
That was a weird laugh.
Yeah. Okay. Stop. And then we'll definitely miss a week after that because we will be in Florida. But yeah, we're going to have in February, we will have 2 trip recaps.
Yes.
I'm already really excited to film the one after our Disney World
I know. It's going to be so fun. I have some really cool ideas on what we can do.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm not even thinking about the fact that I'm not going to see our kids for a week. And then when I do think about it, I'm like, oh, but then I get excited again about going. So, anyways, yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have some fun stuff coming up.
Yeah. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at dreaming.of.disney.podcast. And so until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.